There are 3 components of every conflict, and all you have to do to remember them is to use the acronym IEP: identity, emotion, power. Let's talk about each one. Identity. A good definition of identity we've heard is that identity is who I am in relation to the world. Or said another way, what do I value about myself? How do I want the world to view me? People often confuse their roles or labels in life with their identity. So if you asked someone what their roles are, they typically respond with spouse, parent, teacher, etc. Many of us define our roles in a similar way. But my identity, the essence of how I view myself and how I want the world to view me, is much more unique and intimate to me. Simply said, my roles are what I do. My identity is who I am. So who are you as a person? Many people identify their religion or ethnic background as part of who they are. You may identify in similar ways, or you may have associations with groups, interests, and cultures that inform your identity. Parts of our identities can be more lighthearted. For those who went to Penn State and love Penn State, we are a Penn Stater, even if we graduated decades ago. Most of us identify strongly with our relationships with our loved ones, particularly our children. So being a loving, engaged, competent mother or father is extremely important to us and how we view ourselves. It is also how we want to be viewed as loving, engaged, and competent parents. Most of us identify strongly with our life's work, whether paid or unpaid, and view ourselves and want the world to view us as competent, professional, and dedicated in whatever field we work or volunteer in. In her book, The Conflict Pivot, author and conflict professional Tammy Lenski identifies 6 sources impacting identity. Competence includes our need to be recognized as capable, intelligent, skilled, or having expertise. Autonomy includes our need to be acknowledged as independent and self-reliant. Fellowship includes our need to be included and to be viewed as likable, cooperative, and worthy. Status includes our need to be admired for tangible and intangible assets such as attractiveness, reputation, power, and material worth. Reliability includes our need to be seen as trustworthy, dependable, and loyal. Integrity includes our need for others to respect our dignity, honor, virtue, and good character. Lenski has said that when someone challenges or dismisses what you hold dear about yourself, meaning your identity, conflict often ensues. Let's think about this in the context of a special education dispute. To use a simplistic example, the parent thinks her child needs X to receive a free appropriate public education, otherwise referred to as FAPE. The educator thinks the child needs Y to receive FAPE. Both believe their position to be correct. The parent has a strong sense of identity as a loving, competent, engaged parent. The educator, who also may be a parent, by the way, has a strong sense of identity as a dedicated, competent, engaged educator. Can you see how escalating conflict between the parent and the educator can be a threat to both of their respective identities? Now let's think about power. Power is an important concept when it comes to conflict. Power imbalances, whether actual or perceived, are inherent in all conflict. Yet power remains a poorly understood concept for many of us, including conflict professionals. Good Shepherd Mediation Program in Philadelphia identified 9 different types of power. Formal authority: principal, teacher, judge, police officer, boss, parent. Personal power: charisma, self-assurance, determination, endurance. Rewards and punishments: giving or withholding. Expert information: possessing knowledge or abilities that others value. Resources, controlling wealth or other forms of currency. Physical appearance, fitting socially approved stereotypes. Race, class, gender, age, fitting the stereotypical power characteristics. Verbal ability, effective use of language to influence, persuade, educate. Numbers, strength in numbers. Rectifying power imbalances doesn't mean the more powerful is weakened. Rather, it enables everyone, parent and educator, to more equitably engage with one another. So what are the implications for parents and educators when it comes to power? In order to engage in conflict effectively, we need to reflect upon our beliefs and assumptions about power. What is the source of those beliefs? Why do we think this way? How can we challenge our assumptions about power? How do you react when you have power and when you don't? Finally, emotions. Of the three components of a conflict: identity, power, and emotion, emotion seems the most obvious. Of course there is emotion in conflict. Effective engagement in conflict doesn't mean that you don't have emotion. Instead, it means that you have the ability to identify your emotions, which can be challenging at times, understand the emotions of the other person, and both of you control your emotions in an appropriate way. Easier said than done.